You're listening to Remotely One, a podcast that educates, entertains, and inspires you to take your life back from the office commute. I'm Rick, a former beer rep who left the warehouse to become a voice actor and digital creator.
And I'm Kaleem, a remote work advocate and consultant. We're going to speak with some of the top professionals who have managed to avoid the commute as they share stories from the most inspiring to the most comical, all while working remotely.
Man, this sounds awesome. Let's clock in.
He just disappeared.
Oh, I was just getting my drink, so I'm not.
I thought you were fucking with me again. Like, yo, it's actually your connection, Kaleem. Don't question my shit.
Get it together, guy.
Come to find out, I reached out to Comcast immediately after that because I was like, what are we going to do, Rick? This is fucked. You know, This has never happened. And I was like, it was weird because we were talking and you'd be delayed. So I was like, is this dude just not impressed at all right now? I mean, he's pissed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that we were lagging yet. It was just like, you're like, yeah.
What's a little crazy is I've been using Riverside for a while. I've recorded like 10 podcasts in the last 2 months. And the first 8 were fine. And then this Monday, I tried to do some and I had the same problem. Today it's working fine, but I don't know what's going on.
No, so come to find out, I called them and my internet, man, was all fucking broken. It was me.
It was your internet? Okay.
Yeah, I was all the talking shit.
Well, you're fired.
I was talking so much trash. It was my freaking internet, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to Remotely One. I'm your co-host, Rick Haney, joined by my esteemed colleague, Kaleem Clarkson. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, Rick, I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great, baby. Here we go.
Oh, boy. Oh, he's got it. I'll tell you what, man. We have been fired up for a while now. I haven't had a cup of coffee in over 2 weeks, thanks to that Magic Mind stuff. I'll be totally honest. I'm doing twice the work in half the time. I'm sleeping better. Well, how's it been working for you, man? I can see you're all fired up already.
Oh, I'm always fired up, but let me tell you, baby, it's that magic for that mind. You know
magic
what I mean?
for your mind.
I mean, I'm serious, man. I feel like my mind has become magic. This is like not a joke. It does what it says it does. I'm in that flow state, Rick. I'm in that flow state. And you know what's best about it, Rick? You know what's best about it?
Go ahead.
It lasts all day. All day.
Ooh. Wow.
No crash. And unlike, coffee and Adderall, if you've ever had to take it, I can go to sleep at night, dog.
I'll tell you what, if I were to put my own spin on this, I would say there's not enough O's in smooth for what it does for me, I'll be honest. It's amazing how something with no caffeine and natural ingredients can set your tone for your entire day. I mean, there's no joke.
No caffeine, dog.
No.
So, Rick, question. You going to give this shit away or what?
Well, I'd like to offer it. I mean, hey, we're salespeople here, right?
All right, tell them how they can get it, Rick. Tell them how they can get it. Preach to them.
You got to go to magicmind.com/remotely1. Get up to 56% off your subscription in the next 10 days or 20% off your one-time purchase with our code remotely120. That's all one word, REMOTELYONE 20. And with that out of the way, Kaleem, give us a teaser too about today's guests.
Oh, brother. Today's guest makes me really nervous. Like, I know I'm nervous every week and I say this every episode, Rick, but today's guest, I'm extra nervous because I know this person and I've seen them transform.
Well, I'll be honest too. I mean, I'm nervous. He's got that icy cold stare, and if I look too long, I know I'm in danger.
Our guests first, Rick, they're originally from Pennsylvania. They now reside just outside of Beantown, Baba. Right out there side of Beantown, if you're not familiar.
Southie. No.
Not in Southie.
Oh, you're not in Southie, huh? Okay, well, you got to be near Cappy's Liquors, I hope.
Guest, don't give away your location. Don't give it away, guest. Okay, so Rick, I went to Worcester State University, a.k.a. the Lancers. Shout out Worcester State. And our guest today, they went to our rival school, Worcester Polytech Institute, a.k.a. what's the initials, guest?
WPI.
Oh, damn WPI. Damn them. I never got a chance to beat those damn smart engineers. We lost to them every year. I'm still salty about that.
What'd you lose to them in?
Oh, we lost to them in football, bro. I mean, yeah. We also lost to MIT, so sometimes it hurts your ego when, someone with glasses on cuts you and knocks you over. You're like, damn, they knew that hypotenuse angle and knocked me out. And that's true.
It's been decades, so you should let that go.
A lot of decades.
Yeah.
Don't age us, guest. Don't age us. I met our guest in 2001. Well, so I guess I just aged ourselves, right? I met our guest in 2001 when he was the founder of a software called WizSpark. It was an event planning software, Rick, so it was kind of like meetup.com before Meetup even existed. Pretty cool. But Rick, you can't judge a book by its cover. Our guests today, they are esteemed. They have all these accolades, but you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge somebody. Our guest, Rick, huge fan of Tool and Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I mean?
Wu-Tang Clan. I'm not surprised by Tool, but Wu-Tang, I'm a little taken back by that. That's
Cash
cool.
rules
That's cool.
everything around me. Get the money, not a dollar bill, yo. That's my man right there.
And there goes half the show.
I'm not going to sing it because it won't come out right, but Triumph is my favorite.
Oh, Triumph. It's 2020. Or whatever you said in the beginning. I love that song. Our guest today, they were the 15th employee of a little small marketing company out of Cambridge, Mass. You might have heard of their name, but they were the 15th employee at, you ready, Rick?
I don't know.
Hubspot.
What?
Hubspot. What?
What?
Yes. Yeah. What? Exactly.
15? Holy
where,
shit.
Where they were the VP of sales. And you know what, Rick? They basically became famous as the inbound marketing expert. So all you people out there that read any blogs back in the day about writing a blog and capturing leads, this person right here, you have to thank. So let's give them a round of applause, Rick, for inbound marketing. Woo! Thank you. They've been an advisor to some startups. You may have heard of them, such as Drift, PandaDoc, PartnerStack, and Pantheon, which, by the way, we had their co-founder Josh on our show, episode 60, so go check that out.
Right on.
They are currently the CEO of Databox, which is a data platform, plain and simple. Listeners and viewers, please give a warm welcome to Peter Caputa!
Oh, yeah. All right.
Let's go! Woo! Let's go, baby. Studio audience is excited.
Oh, listen
Settle
to that.
down. Shh.
Okay.
Settle
This
down.
is a public
studio
space, people. Simmer.
audience. Public space. Woo!
Welcome to the show, Pete. Good to see you.
Thanks, Rick.
Welcome to the
You
show,
too.
Pete.
Kaleem, that was definitely the second best intro I've ever gotten. The first one was when we attempted to record this the first time, but
I love it.
And you know what? We attempted to record it because your internet kept dropping on us. Wasn't it your fault?
Was it my internet?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was mine, everyone.
Yeah, I was really bummed that got cut off because
Yeah.
you shared some personal stuff, one of which was a story about commuting with your dad every day, and I'm hoping that our audience can revisit that again because I thought that was very touching.
Sure.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that if you don't mind.
I can't remember how it came up, but all we have to do is extend the intro like 8 more years back, and we'll cover my whole life. So you might as well just rewind the clock.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
But
The podcast will be just the intro.
yeah, I think that you guys asked me like something related to I don't know, working hard or achieving goals or something like that. And I gave credit to my dad for my parents really, but my dad who when I was in middle school, they sold their house. We moved into my grandparents' basement and we bought a piece of property in an area where my parents wanted to live, and they started building a house. But like we didn't really have the money to build a house so my dad literally spent 4 years working nights and weekends building the house, and we got really close to moving in, and we weren't quite there, but I was going into 9th grade, and so my parents said, hey, it would be great if you started in that school that you're going to be in high school for. And I said, okay. And I thought it was a good idea too, as I was leaving a parochial 8th grade school, and would have had to go to a new high school anyways. And so I would commute with my dad in the morning. He would drop me off at the bus stop, like way early. And then he would drive the rest of the way to work. It would be an hour drive in the morning. And then he'd drop me off at the bus stop, which would be another like 45 minutes to an hour to get to school. So my commute was really long. And then my dad, of course, had even longer commute to work. And then at night or after school, I would come home and the house wasn't finished. So this is in Pennsylvania where it gets fairly cold. And so I would do my homework over a kerosene heater in a small room because the small room contained the heat because the house wasn't fully enclosed yet either. So that's my story of hardship. I know there's other people that have plenty more hardship than I have, but what it taught me, I think, is just the idea of setting a goal and achieving it and kind of dealing with the uncomfortableness sometimes of the situation. Because what my parents did, they built a house that later sold for $1 million.
There it is.
And my dad did it with a hammer and nails, and there was very little that we hired someone to do. So it was a great experience growing up.
Yeah, perseverance. That's the name of the game. Perseverance.
You hear that, audience? Not only did he have to walk uphill both ways, but this dude had to do homework over a kerosene heater. Y'all don't know nothing about that. So yeah, perseverance.
Well, this is going to make it sound a little weird, but there was actually a covered bridge between my bus stop and the house. And the winter that I was, we were commuting, they actually decided to replace the floor of the covered bridge. It was made out of wood planks. And so in the winter, when there was ice and snow, I literally had to walk through a frozen creek flowing water to get home.
Wow.
So that is the story that you hear back in the day. I had to do this to get to school. I literally had that. Of course, it was the 90s. I'm not that old, just to put that out there.
Right. What's hilarious is I loved it. Like be your kids, Dad, can I have some allowance? You don't know shit. You don't know anything about hardship. Did you walk through a frozen creek? You don't know. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
You haven't had an education until you've been beaten up by a hobo on the way to school, son.
Well, I do remember. I remember my dad saying something like that. I think it was a year later after we moved in the house, and I made some new friends, thankfully, and wanted to go to the movies. Hey, Dad, can I borrow $20 to go to the movies? And he flipped out, and he's like, I don't have $20 to give you, but it's either I give you $20 to go to the movie, or I buy lunch this week. So I think even after we moved into the house, there was still challenges.
Yep.
And so it taught me to be self-sufficient. Certainly got it.
Heck yeah.
Got the message after that.
So I have to admit, I'm one of your biggest fans. I a long time ago, I was like, I'm not going to comment on this stuff. I'm trying to hold off because I was just watching you advance your career from afar. It's always interesting watching your college colleagues become professionals. And it's been a real fun journey watching. Sure. You know what I mean? Because we were all professionals in college. I'm not gonna put you on blast right now, babe. I'm not gonna tell you all your employees all the crazy shit you used to do. I won't do that. But the 13th employee at HubSpot, 15th, sorry. 15th. Yeah. I assume that their valuation has to be close to $1 billion at this point.
2.2, 2.4, something like that. Yeah, more than 2.
He knows it. $2.2 billion.
Not that I check it every day.
Yeah, right. So when you reflect, can you tell me what it was like your first few years at HubSpot as far as, what the attitude kind of was towards remote work and workplace flexibility? And then can you talk about what the differences were like when you left HubSpot and how many employees it was? Can you just talk about that initial phase to the growth stage? Would love to hear some things about that. Sure.
So when I joined, there obviously weren't that many people. We didn't have any policies really. For the first few years, we would ask Halligan, who's the CEO, what about this? What's our vacation policy? What's the policy about working from home? That kind of stuff. And his response was always use good judgment. And that was it. That was we literally didn't have a document for policies or anything.
Right.
We had an employment contract and pretty much that was it. So there really wasn't any rules around working from home. I lived in Worcester still at the time, and the office was in Cambridge. So most of the days I went in, I commuted 1.5 hours sometimes in the morning, depending on what time I left. sometimes
maybe
more.
2.5, depending on
occasionally
accidents. 2. We get you.
Yeah, exactly. So I did work from home sometimes. I can't remember how often it was. I think I might have worked from home a few days a week, like when I was an individual contributor, where I was in sales basically. And so, but I do remember going in. I just can't remember how often. And then as I became a manager and the director, I would go in a lot more often because there would be very few days where I wouldn't be meeting with somebody. And we had a pretty strong in-office culture for the first few years because there was a lot of things changing all the time. And I think it became hard to do that hard to manage through that unless you're a person. So we had a lot of people in the office. Pretty much everybody had a desk, even the people that only
And roughly what year is this?
Joined in 2007, so that would have been like 2007 through 2011, 12.
All right.
Pretty much. We moved offices, right? We went from this small, it's called the Cambridge Innovation Center. It was a small like co-working place where I don't know, maybe that grew to accommodate maybe 50, 70 people or something like that. And then we ended up moving into a building where we rented like one floor, then 2 floors, then 3 floors, and the whole thing. So yeah, it was a pretty in-office culture. It was also a lot of young people that lived in the city. So they liked the office. There were some large alcohol tabs in the evenings, especially at the end of the month or in the beginning of the month after celebrating the end of the month, things like that. So there was a lot of in-office stuff. I think over the years, HubSpot became much more remote and much more flexible, especially for individuals. I still went in when I was working there quite a bit. The last year I didn't have any direct reports. I was kind of in a phase out role.
Yep.
And so I worked from home most of the time. I went in to see Halligan every once in a while when he would try to convince me to take on a new project. It was quite flexible by the end. I think I still have lots of friends there and it's very, very flexible now. I think they even downsized the offices. I think they got rid of one of the big office buildings that we're renting and moved into another one that was, slightly bigger and still had space. Because most people aren't coming in 5 days a week. They also started hiring sales more remotely as well. So there's a lot of people that don't live around here. So there's no office to go to.
Yeah.
So I think they fully transitioned.
Yeah.
But the other thing about HubSpot, especially in the early days, is that the goals were very aggressive, especially in sales. And there really wasn't a lot of time to goof off. So we had this unlimited vacation policy. And the reason we had unlimited vacation policy is because nobody wanted to track it or pay out unused vacation. So we had this unlimited vacation policy, but then our goals were really aggressive. So there really wasn't enough time to take much vacation. It took some, maybe took 2 weeks off a year. So I think it was more laissez-faire than the typical company, but also really aggressive goals. So there was a lot of work. I worked well more than 60 hours every week.
Oh my gosh.
For the first, 5-6 years at least.
So you're now CEO of Databox. Can you explain to our audience, walk us through a typical day? What is it exactly that you do, that all of you guys do?
Personally, or what Databox does?
Databox. What you do.
The Databox is a performance analytics software for businesses. So the problem that we solve for companies is that they use lots of different tools, have lots of different data stored in different places, and therefore it's difficult to get your hands around how your company is performing at any given time. So what our tool does is hooks into all the other tools that they use, pulls out the data, pulls out the performance data, and then allows our users, our customers, to create dashboards, create reports, set goals, benchmark their performance against similar companies, predict the future performance, et cetera, so that they can more effectively monitor and manage performance, whether they're trying to grow, whether they're trying to improve margins, whatever it is, whatever the metrics that matter to them or to their teams, they can see it all and track it all and report all of it out of Databox.
Oh, yeah. I think it's great. It's a genius idea. I kind of look at it as it's kind of like Zapier as far as how many different tools that you can connect to, but it's like a dashboard. I'm not trying to simplify it, but I just think it's cool. Yeah. It's cool that you can connect to all these different tools. You can connect to your email, you can connect to anything, MailChimp, anything that you're using, and build dashboards. So I think it's super impactful for any person who wants to see progress of what you're doing, and you can just create your customized dashboards with a click of a button. Low code, no code dashboards.
There you go.
At your fingertips.
No accurate.
That's for free, sir. That's for free, sir. We get you on that.
Now, is Databox fully remote? Are you guys a remote first organization, or?
No, we're hybrid in that we have an office that we rent in Patui, Slovenia, a city in Slovenia in Europe.
No doubt.
Where all of our product and engineering are, all of our like people ops, HR is, and then some of other teams. But for the most part, our marketing team, sales team, customer success team, etc., are all remote. There's 4 of us here in the U.S. And then we have people in all different countries. Therefore, we're remote. For the first time ever, we got everyone that could make it together for a retreat, which we did in the Canary Islands in Spain.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice.
Which was really nice. It was beautiful. It was nice to see everyone and meet everyone. I've been to the office several times, of course, to meet the team there and spend time with them. But But not everybody gets that opportunity. So this was the first opportunity where we got everybody that wanted to come together.
Did y'all film it? Did you guys film it or keep it private?
We didn't film the whole thing. We didn't film going in the ocean or having wine at the winery, but we filmed a lot of it. And yes, we internally we have all of it. And then I think we shared clips and stuff publicly.
That's pretty cool. So Pete, let me ask you a question. So you become the CEO of Databox, right? So you leave HubSpot, which in my mind I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So you become the CEO of Databox. How did you kind of make a decision of how you were going to, implement or provide workplace flexibility to your employees? How did you come to some sort of decision to do that?
It kind of just happened. So the founders are from Slovenia. The one founder was here. He's like president of the company, so he's an officer of the company. He's on the board. And he runs, from a management perspective, he runs the product engineering as well as people ops and finance. So he was here for a while, and then he did move back right before COVID to Slovenia. And we always had an office in Slovenia, so all the product engineering team always went into the office. We had a small office in Boston here where a few of us would go. The first few hires that I made were all local, so we would go to that office. But then what happened is one of the hires up here moved home to Pennsylvania. She went to school in Boston, and that's how she ended up working with us. But then she moved back to Pennsylvania, and then ended up hiring a marketing director who was in Connecticut. So we just ended up kind of going remote here. And then when we hired a VP of sales and service, he was like on the other side of Boston. So it really made little sense for us both to commute like an hour to go to an office. We were the only 2 left here. He went remote. And then when we started building out the customer success and the sales organization, it just made sense to hire the right people instead of worrying about hiring people in a geographic area, especially since we didn't have an office here. So we just started hiring in different geographic areas. We have kind of concentrations of people in different countries, but still have, random people in different countries as well. And so it just made sense to like have global positions and open global positions and hire globally for a while. So it wasn't like a decision we just made one day and said, hey, we're going to do this. It just kind of happened. What is unique, I think, about what we have, and maybe not too unique, I'm sure there's plenty of other companies like it, but the unique challenge that our setup presents is that we do have like an in-office culture specifically for the product and engineering team, and then we have a remote culture for sales, marketing, customer service, etc. So like we've had to set up guidelines on what the rules are, and they're slightly different. So it's a little challenging, I think, to say, hey, you have to be in the office 4 days a week to someone when meanwhile someone can work from home for 5 days a week. Although that's what we've done and it works. And then there's because there's people in different countries, sometimes on the same team, it's also challenging. Like we have to manage vacations differently. And for certain teams where we need coverage, like with our customer support team, we need certain coverage during the day. So like there's people that are working different hours. So there's a lot of different like little things that we'd had to set up, which I think in some cases feels unfair to people, but I think makes sense for the individual teams and functions.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, as far as challenges go, you're always looking to hire the right people. What are some of the challenges and the things that you ran into over the years in regard to being a remote company? How does being remote help you find the right people?
It allows for the talent to be anywhere. So if you need somebody that does something specific, and you can say the globe is my pool
Doesn't
of
matter
people.
where you are.
Like, you get more options. It also, very frankly, has allowed us to control for costs, so we can hire people that are similarly skilled in different areas where their cost of living is significantly lower, and we can pay less. So it allows us to have a pretty big team for the size of our company, which is kind of necessary for the complexity of our product, because we do need to provide a lot of support, even though the cost of our product isn't too high. So hiring internationally at lower cost has allowed us to build the company. And I think we would really struggle to build this company in the US, at least to the product quality and service quality that we provide. In fact, many reasons why people buy us and stick with us is because of the service level we provide. And I know our competitors aren't able to match that because they're based in geographies where they can't afford to offer the service that we do.
So you said something very interesting, and I think with hybrid companies like Databox, like the true hybrid, kudos to you for kind of creating that environment. I think before the pandemic, there wasn't really a term used for hybrid, but if I were to try to define hybrid, I feel like, like in sports, you have like the spirit of the game, the unwritten rules, right? I feel like your version of hybrid is kind of like the true spirit of what people meant. You have a whole bunch of people that are going into the office X amount of days or whatever, but then you have a subset that are fully remote, hence hybrid. It's not about days in office, which the pandemic kind of created that days in office situation, right?
Yes.
So something that we definitely help organizations with is dealing with these two separate monocultures of, in office culture versus remote culture. And you hinted on that a little bit. And I think with a lot of organizations, you hinted at, it's sometimes difficult to have two sets of rules for two different people because, people don't think it's fair. But how were you able to mitigate those feelings? Like you said, a lot of things you did were not intentional. So kudos to you for just being successful on chance, because I would not advise any company to do what you did. We didn't have a plan. We just did it, and it worked out.
The founder came over here and ended up raising money from venture capital firms in Boston. It's been always his goal to build a really big software company. And so he knew that coming to the U.S. would give him access to capital and talent that he wouldn't be able to find where he's from. And so I think that circumstance kind of created this in a way, right? Where how do we mitigate those issues? Yeah, I can give you one example that's simple, but caused issues. So in Slovenia, like every country, they have their own customs, and in some of these Baltic, right? The countries near the Mediterranean, I think, they have very specific customs, and there's certain holiday customs at Christmas that they follow, right? And we have people on our team who aren't even Catholics and are other religions. And so every year they would do this Santa thing, and I didn't realize Santa's not religious, but the fact that it was Christmas focused certainly made it the connection. And so they do the Santa thing where all the kids from the employees, the team members that were local, would come in and get a present from Santa, and they'd hang out and they'd have a few drinks or whatever, and it was pretty low key. It wasn't extravagant, but still something that they did that wasn't available to other teams. So we did two things to try to compensate for that. One, we provide a budget to every team member to buy a present for their child. So that way, at the holidays, that's one. Actually, three things. Two, we also provide a budget for any other teams that can get together. So if there's we have maybe 15 people in Serbia, we have a few people in Colombia. And so we basically said, hey, there's the budget that we spend on this event. So you can have this budget to get together with your teammates. And if you want to bring your children and do that too, you can. So we basically innate a budget. And if there's somebody that's in a country or location where it's not convenient to go to their team, we just said, hey, you have some budget to do this. And then the other thing that we did is we also started an annual tradition of having a holiday virtual event where we hired a company to come in and do a kind of game showy fun thing where we spend an hour or two together and do a breakout thing and stuff like that. So just to kind of not talk about work for 2 hours with everybody virtually and give everybody a chance to kind of meet somebody that they probably don't work with on a regular basis. So those are some of the things that we did to try to bring, and we continue with that tradition. It didn't seem to make sense to not have that tradition in Slovenia in that office. And so, but by incorporating everybody else into it, it gives everybody an opportunity to kind of participate a little bit with it.
Well done. I got one quick question, and you can answer it as quickly as you like before Rick's final question.
Okay.
Workplace flexibility, right? We've experienced it. Everyone in the world, I think, has experienced some version of it since 2020, which is crazy. It's coming on 4 years. Sure. Do you feel like workplace flexibility will be a key component in an organization's kind of strategic advantage or strategic goals? Like, where do you see this heading? Lots of return to offices right now in the U.S. What's your thoughts on moving forward in workplace flexibility?
I think it's like the rabbit's out of the hat. It's not going anywhere. For us, like, it's not even practical to consider going back to an office, even part-time in the U.S., let alone full-time. I think, like, just look at my peers, my wife, even, like, her workplace, where there's flexibility. They're allowed to work from home on certain days, and they can kind of pick what those days are. And that gives her flexibility to go volunteer at the library if she wants, or, go to a sporting event and watch my son play a game, or run an errand during lunch, nearby. So I think it'll be really tough for most companies, especially, office jobs that are done behind a computer. I think it'll be very unlikely that there's many companies that completely mandate back to work 5 days a week. I think there'll always be some flexibility around that stuff. I don't know. I'm sure there are, better than I am. I'm sure there are companies that said, nope, everybody back in the office.
Yes,
but
there are. Very few.
That's a hard sell for a lot of people, a lot of employees these days, and people will look for jobs with some level of flexibility.
Certainly.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So Pete, tell us about a comical or inspiring moment you've had while working remotely.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like, you probably get this one all the time, but
no, wait, don't preface it. We don't know.
I'm always surprised by the height of my coworkers when I meet them in person.
I've never heard that.
You haven't? Oh, I thought this was a common thing. So I've hired people and like worked with them for years without knowing their actual height. It's not something you collect on an HR form, right? So no idea what the height is. And so I'll go to the office, or in the case of the retreat, I'd go there. I'm like, wow, you're a lot shorter than I thought, or wow, you're a lot taller than I thought. Like you can get someone's general like shape, size, everything else, but like height is impossible on Zoom. So that one gets me every time. Yeah, it's definitely like there's a guy on my team. He runs our customer support organization, and he's like 6'2", 6'3". I'm like, wow, but he's like a skinny kind of guy, so I had no idea he was so tall. Yeah. Anyways,
these are the true insights we look for on Remotely One.
Yes.
Yes.
So for everybody who doesn't know, Peter is a solid 4 feet 9 inches. Okay, he's a solid 4 feet 9 inches.
I'm 5'7"3/4.
Hey, bro, I'm only like an inch taller than you, bro. We're like almost the same height, dog.
He drives a car with blocks under his feet so he can reach the pedals.
We're like almost the same height. That's great, man.
That's amazing. Pete, where can our listeners and viewers find you?
On LinkedIn is my preferred social network. I'm very active on LinkedIn, as Kaleem knows.
Yes.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'm constantly publishing. I try to get back to everyone, unless you're like, connecting with me just to sell me your service, then I'm gonna block you, just like I do in my email inbox. But otherwise, I try to be congenial with people and see how I can help.
Awesome, man.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I learned so much from you. Thankfully, the internet held out today, so that's good.
I know.
Yeah, so it was my internet, but thank you, Pete. I appreciate it, man. I keep following you, and it's awesome to see what you're doing. So thanks for coming on.
Same. I'm looking forward to the next Neo concert, Kaleem. When's that?
Oh, wow.
Jeez, I'm not sure. Jeez, I'm not sure when that's coming.
So that's, I think, for your listeners, we should tell this story. So we met. You were running an organization called Concerts for Charity, and you hooked up with my company, Hubspot, which I hate saying the name, and we helped you with the marketing of that concert at the Worcester train station, right?
Was it the train station?
I think it was at the train station.
Man.
It's a beautiful train station for people that don't know the Worcester train station. It's like this beautiful old building that they completely refurbished. Has a huge center.
Man. I thought I was going to be a rock star promoter back then, Pete.
I know. Yeah.
That's awesome.
They all go in
all right, man. Good times.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Good luck on your webinar today.
Good luck on your webinar. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to Remotely One. Visit us at remotelyone.com/podcast for upcoming episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our episodes on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, don't forget to clock out.